Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How is it going? How is your day? Is it good? I hope you are really good today. And don't forget to support our government program to stay at home and study at home and always pray for our better conditions, okay? Well, today is our second meeting and we will have the scope of psycholinguistics. When we talk about psycholinguistics, what comes to your mind? Do you have any background knowledge related to psycholinguistics? Okay, maybe some of you have read book related to psycholinguistics. Maybe some of you have heard about what psycholinguistics is, and today you are going to recall your background knowledge, or maybe some of you even do not know anything about psycholinguistics, so this is the new one for you. So you are going to know about what psycholinguistics is. After that, you will learn about branches and goals in general, and language processing, language acquisitions, and neurolinguistics. The 5 things here, those are the things that you are going to learn in psycholinguistics. Okay. And before we go further to learn about psycholinguistics, it will be better you know some key terms that frequently used in psycholinguistics, so you do not get confused with what is the meaning of this, what is the meaning of that. So I would like to share to you about some key terms that is frequently used in psycholinguistics. The first one is about learning versus acquisitions. So do you know what's the difference between learning and acquisitions? Okay. After that, we are going to know about foreign versus second language. Do you know the difference? The third one is first language and second language. I think and I believe in that you are familiar with first language and also second language, but I don't know you really know about the difference between both of them. Do you know? Okay, let's check then. The first one is learning versus acquisitions. Learning is the conscious activities. So if you mention or if you talk about learning, you are doing conscious activities. I'm learning psycholinguistics. So you are in the activities that you are conscious in it. So you are aware that you learn something. Okay? And usually learning, you do it in informal classroom context. So you go to the classroom, you go to the online classroom, you go to the offline classroom, or in informal classroom context, and it's called learning. Okay, those are the characteristics of learning. And what is learning used for? Usually learning is used for the mastery of linguistic rules. Okay? And what about acquisitions? Acquisition is subconscious activities. Learning is conscious and acquisition is subconscious activities. And the second one is the characteristic of acquisition is in natural context through contact with native speakers. So when learning is in informal classroom context, But in acquisition is in natural context, through context with native speakers. Like when you learn about your first language, you do not learn in classroom context. Maybe your first language is Bahasa or Bahasa Indonesia. You do not go to the class or Bahasa class, but you learn from your mother, your environment, your parents, your siblings, and so on. That's natural context. And the third one is for the mastery of language use. So in learning is used for the mastery of linguistic rules. So you know the grammar rule or the structures of English, but for the acquisition is you want to be a master of language use. So the main goal is to use the language itself. That's the difference between learning and acquisitions. If you have any questions related to learning versus acquisitions, you can share your questions to the LMS. I have provided forum discussions about our second meeting. And next, foreign versus second language acquisition. Foreign versus second language. Foreign language, it is a status, okay, underline it, of a new language when it is learned only in the formal classroom context and not used as a means of daily communication in the society. So, when that language only in the formal classroom context, it is learned only in the formal classroom context and not used as a daily communication in the society. So it means that a foreign language. It is a status, okay? What about second language? It is also a status of a new language when it may be acquired in the natural context, since it is used as a means of daily communication in addition to the first language. You can underline addition to the first language. Okay, foreign language and second language. And now, first language versus second language. There is foreign language, there is second language, there is first language. First language, the mother tongue or native language of a person. So what is your first language? Mandarin, Japanese, Bahasa, or even Arabic or English? Every person or each person has a different first language. Depend on your mother teach you. Why first language called as mother tongue? Because your mother teach you the first language. And it's like an instinct which is triggered by birth and developed with the experience of being exposed to it. Triggered by birth, okay? There is no other alternative to a first language. A person cannot decide his or her first language. It comes to him or her or to you as an inheritance or legacy or birthright. So you cannot choose your first language. Your environment develop it. Okay, your first language. When your mother give birth to you, and you cannot choose your language. Tidak mungkin ketika your mom melahirkan kamu kemudian baru lahir dan kalian pilih, Mom, I want to use my first language is Arabic. It's impossible. Is that right? Okay, that first language. And about second language. A language a person learns in order to communicate with the native speaker of that language. A personal choice of person. Nah, in this case, for the first language, you cannot choose your first language, but the second language you can choose your personal choice. Okay, you can choose what your second language. If you want your second language is English, just go. If you want your Japanese as your